Hello human beings, Cactuses here, aka your least favorite YouTube channel, and today we are on Theme Park Tycoon 2, and we're going to be revisiting a lot of my old roller coasters and determining on a scale of 1 to 10 how much they would kill or harm you. Because this game, you can play around with the physics a lot in this game, and let's be real, even though it's been updated, a lot of it is straight up not realistic. So we're going to see, like, if this was real, like, how deadly would it be? So first we're going to get on my roller coaster, Sapphire Storm. This is one of my oldest ones that I have here. It has a pretty crazy launch, so let's just see what happens. Alright. Ooh. Ouch. Okay. So right off the bat, we have a pretty crazy, like, oh, top hat, and then crazy janky turn here. Ooh. Not airtime hill. Definitely a little bit painful. I can feel myself slamming into the restraints. I think that this will be a pretty unpleasant ride. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So, like, let's review that. So first we pull up into that, like, very, very tight, like, hill up there. And then the track is not profiled in, like, any gradual way, so it kind of just immediately goes down here. I think if there were any, like, serious, like, pains that people would be getting off this ride, it would be in this little segment right here. As if it wasn't enough to have, like, you go up 200 plus feet in the air and have this little drop, which is, like, tiny. I mean, the G-forces there would be crazy. Let's actually check the stats on this one. Oh, shut up, bro. Sapphire Storm is too expensive, says Ashton. Well, Ashton, how about you go fuck yourself? Intensity, 5.27. I feel like for this game that's kind of high. And it says nausea, 8.29. This ride's super fast. If it wasn't enough for that to be the case, there's also this giant ass, like, granite tunnel that it goes through right here, which I don't understand what the point of that was. But I feel like if you put your hands up, they could get chopped off. To top that off, we have this, like, janky, like, big turn over here that's hardly banked enough. And then icing on the cake is just outward banked airtime hill that would send you flying into the restraints. I'm not gonna lie, this ride seems pretty unpleasant and awful, and I think I'm gonna give this like a 6 out of 10. So we're starting off pretty strong with that. How are we gonna top it? Well, let's go over to my most infamous one, Vulture Grip of Fear. So not to flex or anything, but the video I posted of this ride originally got like over 50,000 views, and it's kind of just my claim to fame at this point. That was like the peak of Cacti, not Cactuses, and ever since then we've just been trying to relive it. So here we are. As you can see, this ride is just like a spaghetti bowl of track that, well, first of all, let's examine this, is way too thin to support the G-forces that this ride is exerting on its riders. So it's coming back into the station. This ride does all sorts of crazy shit. It like has a forwards and backwards segment. I mean, it's definitely something. So let's just get on this thing and determine its safety. I'm like the inspector, and we're gonna figure out just how awful this ride is. So we started off this one with this insane beyond vertical drop, which if you're in the back, and then that's gonna hurt, and then into a crazy airtime hill, then this into a launch, because, well, why not, you know? And there are some roller coasters in real life that do some pretty crazy stuff like this, but this ride is particularly kind of janky. However, is it deadly? That's a great question. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of tight moments, and I feel like it would be a safety hazard if you had your hands up, or just had like long arms in general. And then there's this backward segment. So this is probably a safety violation of some sort because the track doesn't have anything to stop the train from going over. Also, we just like wait up here for like a million years. Is this ride deadly? I don't know if I would say that. I think this one is potentially dangerous and tight and uncomfortable. But would I call it deadly? I don't think that I would. I think it's just a little bit unsafe. So I'm gonna give this one like a 3. Alright, so next up is one of my more unhinged roller coasters. So if you know anything about this park, Insanity Park, it's that there's a tower that's over 400 feet tall, kind of just sitting in the middle of it with a giant staircase. I didn't really think the concept of this through very much. And then on top of it, there's this roller coaster Crocodile Dive, which dives down all the way to the basically like below ground. So let's see how this works. Alright, this is pretty insane. Now, even though this ride is huge and that drop is super, like, that valley is super wide, I do think that the G-forces received to, like, the rider would be, I think you would at least black out. I think that you would be deeply affected by that. I think that this ride, it's short and sweet, but it packs a punch, and I'm gonna go ahead and give that, like, maybe like a 5, I don't really know. Alright, so this next one is one that I built like semi-recently. I think it's called Soaring Pelican or something stupid like that. But this is like one of the newer kinds of roller coasters, and so I'm guessing it'll feel a little bit smoother. Alright, so we're going right into this launch. Okay, this is actually, like, not terrible. It's relatively smooth. Yeah, alright. I'll mess with it. Oh! Okay, no. So this ride actually just fucking killed me. So this ride gets a 10 out of 10 on the deadly scale because it literally launches you off into the water. So if you being crushed under the weight of the restraint didn't instantly kill you, you would probably have the slow and painful death of being trapped in those, like, harnesses and drowning under the water. So this ride actually really makes sure that if you get on it, you pretty much signed your death warrant. So here's a ride called Tidal Tsunami, and this one actually gets an honorable mention for killing people because you literally touch the ground when you go through that final inversion. So I'm also going to get that a 10 out of 10, but like with an asterisk over it because it's not quite something that the roller coaster is intentionally doing, but it's definitely an issue. I would assert. This was just a peek into some of my old roller coasters and a reflection of sorts on the type of stuff that I was building in my younger years, in my formative years. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content, and you know, give a like. Hey, maybe even subscribe if you liked it. Yeah. Anyway, it's cacti, not cactuses. Stay prickly.